Okay, we're back. Hello, everybody. And sorry that it's been a minute since we've been gone. I think we wanted to get together last week, but we've both been really busy, especially Rachele, creating lots of amazing new decks. And I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that before I forget. She's created, among many, but a Astrology True Sidereal deck. Yay!
I do it.
I want to believe that she created it for me, but I feel like she had it in the work for a while. But I had mentioned it a couple months ago, so to me it feels like instant manifestation because it's like, here it is. A tool that I want to use is always the most exciting.
All of these decks that I have created, they're all for me. Okay. And then I figure if I'm making it for me, I might as well see if other people want it as well, right?
You know that me and you are so similar. You know I'm going to want it. But I feel like we have such great taste that many, many, many people are going to want it and use it. So we always have our links below, but Rachele's Ko-fi shop is down below. That's where you get these decks, right?
No.
Or make playing cards.
Right. It'll be below in my, because this is going on your channel.
Yeah, but I still leave your Ko-fi link. But where do they buy it?
It's not my Ko-fi link. It's an actual link to make playing cards. I have them make playing cards. Well, so I'll make sure that I'll send you the link. Okay. Yeah. And it is available now. And there's another version that is available as well that is got like extra wording on it for beginners. So like the sun and moon are luminaries. The planets say planet on them on either side.
And I think you're going to use that today and probably going forward as like a little extra, element to our teaching and helping everybody learn. So that's exciting.
Yes. Also, another thing I want to mention really quick. I'm not sure how many other people that you have that have reached out and want to.
No one else has reached out to me.
Okay. So I have 4.
Okay. So with mine, that's 5. Yeah, I feel like we need to we're cutting that off because look how long it's taken us to just do our charts, a month. So yeah, we'll start with that. We're not saying we'll never reopen it or anything like that, but for now, I think we've got, and for anybody that's reached out, we're not doing it. We're going to get through these, and we try to do one. I guess at this point we've been kind of every other week.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if we could do it every week, once a week, that would be great. But
yeah, again, and we love to do this, but we're both really busy with a lot of other things. Right. So
exactly. So when we can, we do.
Yes. And if we end up with lots of extra time, maybe we'll push them out a little bit more frequently. But be patient with us, and we'll get to you.
Exactly.
But yeah, thank you for that reminder. I will make just a small little disclaimer. I've been very, very sick. I was feeling a lot better yesterday, but then my husband got sick last night, got not very much sleep, and now I'm feeling a little bit woozy. So I hope I don't stumble my words, or if I start zoning out, hopefully I don't.
I'll try to pull you back in.
Snap or something, bring me back. This is a reminder for everybody to take their vitamins. It's the crud and the croups going around, and just take care of yourself. One more announcement, but this will help us segue into, it's not really an announcement, but a point that I wanted to make sure and mention, and this will help us segue into the charts, is Rachele and I both recently had a really, I thought, amazing opportunity to have our True Sidereal charts read by a great master, and his name's Isaac Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. And I just think it changed everything about how I want to be as an astrologer.
Here's the thing though, like I've said many times, if somebody really wants to explore their chart and learn it for yourself, absolutely, because your interpretation is going to be different than everybody else's, right? And who knows what has happened in their life better than you do? Just like, who knows their body better than nobody, right?
Right.
But seeing how other people see the chart, it can be such a beautiful thing, right? So I say, if you really want to dive into it, get readings from several different people.
Yeah. And I have over the years. I had an astrology reading before I ever had a tarot reading when I was 17 or 18 years old. So this would have been back in late 96. I remember I was at a grocery store. Remember how back, us oldies will remember there was no internet. So to advertise, people hung up flyers in like grocery stores and they'd write their phone number and cut little pieces. And I ripped off a little piece of a phone number and called it. And I went into this little trailer park, into this little single wide trailer, and left there absolutely clueless because I did not know a single thing about astrology, and I still didn't know. But anyways, I've over my lifetime had many. But I'm trying to even think if I've ever let somebody read my cards professionally, and I don't think I have. And if I have, I do not remember. But I've had a lot of different astrology readings, and you're absolutely right. Everybody is going to see something different, and that's the beauty. There's no right or wrong. It's just so interesting to see how people's minds pick things out and see things, and to see the way that Isaac seen me and seen you, and we watched each other's because he did like a video. It's just he's magical, and we both agree that he's just so humble, and we want to do everything that we can to put the word out about true sidereal and the truth about astrology, and he is definitely a person that deserves more support. And so he has a channel here on YouTube. What's his channel called?
Sidereal Astrologist, I believe.
And then I don't know if he has anything under his own name. He has a Facebook group,
which is Sidereal Revolutionist or Astrologist.
Sidereal Revolution.
It'll be down below.
His name's Isaac Rodriguez, and he's just amazing. So
they call him Captain Ike.
Captain Ike. Yep, he lives on a sailboat, and he was doing our readings on the sailboat. So I feel like I'm already going to be seeing things a little bit differently today. And one of the things that I noticed is that instead of being, and I think this is what, we've touched on before, and I don't want to speak for Rachele, but because she came into the true sidereal really at the beginning of her astrology journey, she never got locked in to as much of the archetypal system that Western tropical is. And when I seen Isaac delivering our charts, to see the way that he sees from such a higher perspective, and what I mean by that is literally like cosmic, higher, not meaning high vibration or any literal cosmic, from a cosmic level.
Well, he was astronomer that took pictures, astronomy photography person. I don't know what it's called.
But then how instead of linking it to maybe like the human archetypes, which again, Western tropical being more influenced in the modern age by like Carl Jung and other psychologists, this is more going off of like the deities, the gods and the goddesses, which we need to remember that is what we are. We are made of stars. We are the same. We are gods and goddesses, or we have the potential to be. So it was really cool to see that kind of perspective. So I feel like I can't help but want to look at the chart in that way, but I'm not up yet to obviously his level. But I think by the different studies that you're doing with the different Greek gods, and I see how all of that knowledge would help play into reading a chart like the way that he does.
I mean, if you really think about it, now when Courtney and I were doing the Angels and Demons series over on her channel, Aries Witchcraft, one thing became very apparent because we were doing the 72 Shem angels, and same with the demons, right? They have their counterparts.
Yes,
they are all associated with different planets, just like all the gods and goddesses are associated with different planets. So that tells me that all of our early cultures that we know of, they all revolved around their religion, their theology, everything revolved around the stars and the planets.
Right.
Yeah.
So
when you look at different cultures like the Norse, and you look at the Chinese, and you look at the Mayans, and they all have different astrology. The Armenians, they all have different astrologies.
Yeah.
For me, I want to explore all of them. I want to look at all of them. The only difference is I want to make sure that it corresponds with what is actually in the sky.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
I will say, just really quick, I was watching Patrick from The Living Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ladies that was in the live was talking, this was a couple of weeks ago. She was showing a different website where she got her chart run, and there were 13 houses. Do you remember what you asked me earlier?
That's the first thing I was having a hard. I even emailed Isaac before I knew who Isaac was, or no, who's the other guy that made the software?
Athens.
I emailed Athens. I'm like, why isn't there 13 houses? But okay, what did he say? Or she?
Well, she had mentioned it, and I'm like, well, that's very interesting. I'm open to that. I'm open to all of it.
I've come to accept how it is now. I'm okay with that. But I'm guessing you probably seen the discussion in Ike's group last week where somebody was saying, really, Ophiuchus shouldn't be the 13th sign. It's the 9th sign.
Right. Exactly.
So, and somebody was arguing about, people, the thing is important here is it's not an argument, it's a discussion. Let's have a discussion about it and see how does it fit if it's the 9th sign compared to the 13th? How would it fit if it's in its own house versus sharing the 8th house? There's no reason to, it's a debate, not an argument.
Well, I agree. And it doesn't even have to be a debate. It's just a discussion.
Just discussion.
Right?
We're just looking at all possibilities here.
Right. But I don't want somebody to talk for me. Like, we don't need another house. Well, maybe you don't need another house, but don't speak for me.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this as an option.
Exactly. I keep myself open. This is how we got ourselves into this difference of Western astrology not being accurate.
Yeah.
And, people now like, oh my gosh, but 13 constellations,
like, Ophiuchus is the new constellation. It's not new.
But that's how we got there, was by having a closed mind. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And saying, we're going to stick to this system. This is what everybody should be going by.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that.
No.
It's not
about anything.
We're never going to say anybody's place to say that.
No.
So explore, keep yourself open.
Well, that makes me happy, though. It is always validating to hear somebody else had that same thought. Like, okay, I'm not the only one.
Oh, there's a website where you can actually get your chart done with 13.
13 signs and 13 houses.
Yes.
Well, I guess I just wonder then, what separate attributes they associate with that additional house.
Well, what do you associate the differences between Scorpio and Ophiuchus?
True.
That's the whole point. A system is a system. So when they created the system, I've heard people say that the houses are not based off of the constellations. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're based off of the characteristics of those zodiac constellations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there is a whole
that energy can show up in multiple ways. You can have that energy there through the zodiac. You can have it through the planet. You can have it there through the house.
Exactly.
All these different variations of these energies, the ways that they can come in, the way that they play with each other, the way that they dance with each other, the way they conflict with each other, the way they complement each other. And with that said, let's pull Styles chart.
All right, let me share it. How do I do this again? Oh, there we go.
There you are.
Okay, so something else really quick. I wanted to mention for those people that are going to be watching, let me find it really quick. When I've had people say, well, I don't know what I'm looking for. Yeah, I wished I, knew what the signs and all that, the symbols were and where the houses are and all this. So really quick, I made this just briefly so that you understand that on the left of the chart, right at the horizon sign, it starts at 1. You can see the 1 and works its way around. That's how the houses work. Yep. So when we're talking about the first house, you'll see where the first house is right there.
Yep.
And then I'm going to also show what symbol we're looking at so that you can see it on the charts.
Great.
Okay.
That's awesome.
All right. So let me get rid of this. But that's where the houses are. All right.
So let's see what you have here in your first house.
I've got
on the left. Oh, Cancer rising.
Stop it.
Which, you know, there are certain signs I have affinities for. So it's just like, okay, well, I do love that for you. But Gemini rising makes so much sense with your unquenchable thirst for, you know, knowledge and teaching. It's very much a personality trait that I feel like anybody would say or know about you. If it was like, you know, name one thing about Rachele Dagley. She is very knowledgeable about a lot of different things and a great teacher.
Well, I've said many times that I believe that some of the best teachers are people that have just learned something new and then they turn around and they share that information. Yeah, why? Because that they are in the mindset of a beginner. So when they're
still super passionate about it and super like, wow, what did I just learn? I got to share it with the world.
Exactly. But when you are in the mindset of a beginner, you can also understand what somebody else is looking for to help them understand, just like you did.
Yeah.
So
instead of when you're 10 levels ahead, it's kind of hard to go back and teach level 1.
Case in point, my new deck. Because I just take it for granted that everybody knows, well, this is a planet, this is an asteroid, this is an aspect. And I had somebody say, well, they don't know what all those are. Could you put them on there? So I had to create a beginner's deck. But because I've been doing this for a few years now, I wasn't in that mindset anymore when I was creating this.
And shout out to whoever that was that had the bravery to say that, because you should never feel bad because you don't know something. We didn't know these things either at one time. That you know, it takes time. So, but a deck like that is certainly going to help people to learn.
That's enough. Sorry. Puppy love, right? Puppy love.
He settled right down. It's a very good boy. It's a very good boy.
Now, one thing that I did say in my first house, although it doesn't show up on here because I don't have it on my charts, but I think I'm going to rectify that as well. Yeah. Be adding even more stuff on my charts. But also on my rising was Sirius, the star.
Yeah.
So
I did
that's kind of cool.
That's the first thing I messaged you. I was like, ooh.
Exactly.
Had never even heard that before, but I'm like, I already know that's cool.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and another thing that's not included on my charts, but I'm going to, and he includes it on his, is the galactic center. Yeah. Which is also in Ophiuchus at 11 degrees, I believe, Ophiuchus. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is going to be like, I even got confused with that right away. It'll be in Ophiuchus for everybody because that's the galactic center, right? But it will change what house it's in.
Correct.
For every individual.
Yeah.
So, but let's see here. That's it. That's all you have in your first house. That's your rising. You don't have any placements. You don't have any planets there. And you, on your true sidereal chart, you put a lot of additional points of reference on the left chart of the tropical western. I did just the planets,
right?
The north node, south node. But even with all these additional placements, you still don't end up with anything in the first house,
right?
So move to your second house, left chart, nothing, right? And south node, you end up in the second house in Leo. Did you have Leo in the second house in both charts?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
So
that's not uncommon though, because Leo is a little bit larger of a constellation, and Gemini is smaller, and Taurus is a little bit larger. And you know what? I do have all of the sizes as well. So like Aries is 20 degrees in size. Taurus is 36 degrees in size. Gemini is 25. Cancer's 20. So you can see there's a considerable difference in sizes in the majority of them. Yeah. That's why you'll find that many Leos are still Leos, but they they might have been, if they're early on Leo, right, they might still be like a later.
Okay. And same with Virgo, because Virgo's so big.
Virgo definitely is 49 degrees in size. So
yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that Leo was that. I mean, again, obviously, if you just look at the colored perimeter, you can see the size of it. But to hear the number, you still realize just how much bigger it is than these other signs. So now that does make sense. But so, okay, that's your South Node.
Right. In my second house.
Yeah. So to me, I feel like that you must have come from a wealthy past, and at least recently. Because second house, like, you know, and again, that's a great, because I feel like you're going to receive more as you move up and you're leveling up. It's kind of like a reward system, you know. You certainly are living a blessed life now, and you don't ever take that for granted, and you don't ever try to hide from that, nor should you. You shouldn't have to be mad or apologize for it, or you're more than generous. And I think that generosity comes from, and I feel like too, maybe to have, even just having Leo in the second house, even though you don't have any other placements there other than the South Node, I feel like that is part of what makes you such a generous person, because Leo is such a fun, caring, warm, fun, likes to give and have fun. I think that is part of what makes you a very generous person. I think that makes sense in the second house. Very much not a selfish person.
I'd like to think I'm not.
Yeah.
That's what the South Node looks like, guys.
Yep. Our little horseshoe.
Yes. So you'll see it on, it's not even showing up. Only the North Node shows up on the Western, correct?
Yeah. Yes. So wherever you see that North Node, which is the horseshoe look like that way, you just know that the house 180 degrees is where it's at.
Right.
But so, yeah, I think you might have had some opulence in the past, which good for you.
I think also with it being like, how do we value ourselves, right? Because that's also like, so I think also coming in with a lot of confidence because of being in Leo.
Yeah.
Leos are confident.
Well, all the fire signs
are ruled by the sun. And I've had people say, well, and this is where I think the opinionated stuff comes in, because I am confident. I could be wrong. I'm never saying that I'm 100% right all the time. Never.
Yeah.
But I am confident in what I believe at the
You're not going to come with something if you don't have conviction behind it. You have conviction behind it, or you wouldn't be saying it.
Right.
Exactly. But here's, I think actually Leo's a perfect point of reference in the difference with the tropical and the true sidereal, because again, I've actually given many astrological readings to people who I don't know. And I will say that one that would make me feel as though I was wrong was always when I would talk to Leo people. And if anybody here is watching who was told they were a Leo or had Leo placements in Western Tropical, and you were put this confidence was put upon you, and you're always, this is what they literally always stop me and they're like, oh no, I don't feel that confidence at all. I don't want that spotlight at all. In fact, it's the opposite, because most of the time those people are not Leos. And this is what I would say. I would be like, well, and to a certain extent, this could be true, right? Especially if we're talking about the sun placement, because I would say, okay, well, you know, your sun is what it's like your lifetime goal. You're here to become that. And I think that's true for a lot of things in extent of age. So like if you're talking with an 18-year-old, I mean, much of your chart isn't going to make sense at all, regardless of what system you're using, because you need to grow into those things. This is your whole lifetime's map.
Right.
Right. Exactly. But I would consistently be told by Leo energy, no, I do not have that confidence. And the way that you just owned that, and I already know that about you anyways, that's
where it can come in, and people say the difference of like arrogance and confidence.
Yeah, sure.
So much people become I think, triggered by somebody that is confident.
Yes.
As if you're challenging me. No, I'm just shining in my own right. I want you to shine in your own right.
Yeah.
It's not about, taking something away from you. It's about just me being me.
Well, that's why we get along, because we don't, we're not challenged by that, because we both feel
exactly
that confidence. So it's not it's not triggering, or it's not taking anything away to see somebody else shine. And we would want that for everybody, but everybody's going to come into those things in different times and different lifetimes, and that's okay, right? We're okay with that. And we're also okay if you're not okay with us.
Right. But you can see why that would be my south node, though.
Yeah.
Because it is something that I came in with that confidence. Okay.
Yep.
And so
and then that Leo energy transfers over here to your third house in your Black Moon Lilith, which there's been a lot of talk about lately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right at the cusp, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I get it.
I can't read the degree there.
It's 10 degrees in Leo, but so yeah, that's pretty much cusp because of where the second house. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I
was like, wait, wouldn't it need to be like way bigger?
No, I was looking
10 degrees would be just barely in. Is that the orb?
I was looking at the south node, not.
Oh, okay.
Black Moon Lilith is 27 degrees.
27. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, 10 degrees. That can't be clear over there at 10 degrees.
So it is cusped between my second and my third house, which makes sense also because all my life growing up in a family where you are taught, and these are like Christian principles, you don't talk about the things that you have. You don't ask for things for yourself, because then you're being greedy.
Humble.
You only ask for what you need.
Yeah.
And you're always giving to other people. So if you have plenty, you're a rich man. You're going to go to hell pretty much.
I call it poverty core.
Yeah.
People that are
so there was poverty. That shame.
Yeah.
If I have plenty and I'm doing good in my life, shame on me, because there's a whole bunch of other people that aren't. Well,
yeah.
If I'm doing bad in my life, does that mean everyone else is doing better in their life? It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So why shouldn't everybody have the ability to do good in their life? But that comes with gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Understanding what you have.
Well, and it also comes with breaking out of controlling systems such as the church. And in order to break free from those, you have to be able to think for yourself, and you have to be able to withstand criticism from other people. And to do that, you have to have the confidence. And so you can see all these things build upon each other.
Yes. Yes.
But with that Black Moon Lilith, so again, because I have never really included these additional placements, and it's not that I'm not going to, and for, again, back to people that are just learning, it's okay to take basic steps and add things. You could add one of these at a time. You don't have to start with all of this. They are all amazing placements. There's nothing wrong with looking at them, but you don't have to start with all of those.
Right.
But I mean, I could be wrong, but the Black Moon Lilith isn't it like kind of like a placement of our sacred rage?
Pardon me?
Like sacred rage type of a placement that kind of helps you. It's a shadow, but something that but of course we want to own all of our shadows aspects, but this one is something that's more of like a gift, a dark gift. Is that right?
Well, to my understanding, Black Moon Lilith is where we carry shame, where we are meant to carry shame.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is something that we're taught younger in life.
Okay.
And then it's something that we also heal ourselves through shadow work, right? Because it's like something that we try to repress. And I've said this before, not all
similar to like your Chiron.
What's that?
Similar to the Chiron placement.
I mean, kind of, but Black Moon Lilith is more about something that we feel shame for, or we've repressed, maybe because of society, or it also has a lot to do with sex. So also in that house, well, in between You know,
but
my
like you pointed out, you've got it in Leo, which you were made to feel shameful of your confidence. You've also got it in your third house, which is siblings.
I mean, it's literally on the cusp, but
it's still in there.
Well, actually, it's in. Oh,
and it makes sense.
Well, yeah, it could be. It just shows me 36% in Leo. It doesn't show me what house, but it does look like it's in the third house.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I think also some of that is meant. Again, I don't think we should shame ourselves for anything, but I think it fits that you've been judged and shamed for your teaching abilities and for the way that the way that you learn and help other people learn. And that's how you shine with your Leo. That is the spotlight that you get. Mm-hmm. So I think it really makes a lot of sense.
It does make sense. Absolutely. Yeah. And then my moon was in Virgo in Western.
You have a Virgo in both. Virgo moon in both.
Yes.
Which we agree is a very witchy placement. A Virgo moon is very like nurturing, kitchen witch. I just see like the apothecary just makes so much sense, you know, all of those types of things. So, and you have it in the third house in both.
It is a reflection of the sun. The moon's energy is a reflection of the sun.
Yes.
And it's also like our emotional state and like our psychic state, you know, all these things, right? Yeah. Which I believe our psychic abilities stem from our emotions.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
So
how we feel.
Virgo, with it being in Virgo, to me, it shows like my sun, which is in Sagittarius, that is like flighty, and I have always got 10 million things going on, right? But if I didn't have my moon in Virgo, grounded, I would not be as organized as I am. I would not be able to create from all that chaos that's going on in my sun energy.
Yeah.
To be able to create like order.
I agree. Because I like you have a Sagittarius sun. We were both Caps in tropical, and we're both Saggies. And I don't have that grounded moon. And Mercury is yes, it's Earth ruled Mercury. Virgo, it's ruled by Mercury. Very organized. I am not. I was telling her today, I got to clean my office again. It's such a mess. I can't keep track of it. It's hard to stay on task when your office is a mess and when you're, you know, it's just, I'm always disorganized. I do think a Virgo moon would be a great placement, and more than just the moon, Virgo third house.
Right. Exactly.
Because third house is naturally Gemini, which is also co-ruled by Mercury. So it's very,
right.
You know, they're besties.
Yes. Yes.
Love that.
Another thing, with the ability to take chaos energy and bring order to it. I had talked about this with like the tarot practice that I did a couple months ago. Okay. It was like starting from a blank slate in Don Michelle's membership, right? And that was really difficult for me because I don't ever start with a blank slate. I've always got so much going on. It's chaos. It's chaos that helps me create.
Controlled chaos with your Virgo moon.
Yeah, well, it's the chaos that I need in order to pull things out in order to create. Yeah. So it's easier for me to sleep when there's sound. I don't care what it is. It's easier. I fall asleep like that. If it's silent, nope. Wow. If it's pitch dark, nope. Yeah. It doesn't bother me to have noise and light, and I can actually even hear better sometimes and multitask better when there's other stuff going on. Because it helps me to compartmentalize. Isn't that weird?
I think it's unique. I'm trying to use those words, but I don't know. You've got older kids, so it's a very in thing for younger kids to be like, I guess I'm just weird. It's a very like self kind of deprecating type of a way. So I'm trying to be like, it's very unique. You're very unique. There's nothing wrong with being weird and quirky, you know?
Yeah.
But So, okay, now, so I don't think it's a surprise that probably many people are going to have some Virgo placements or even multiple Virgo places because it's such a big constellation.
But I have a lot.
You do. Moon, Neptune, I see Uranus.
Yeah.
And you just have the one in retrograde that I can see there, right? Your Neptune? Or no, is that the Pluto glyph on that one?
Retrograde.
That's Pluto.
Yeah. I
forget the Pluto glyphs look different there. You want to hold up your card for Pluto so people can see?
Yeah, sorry.
Show us the deck, Rachele.
I know it. I am sorry, guys. Okay. So this is Uranus that you're going to see also in there.
Doesn't Uranus have 2 glyphs also, or is that always that one? Is it just Pluto?
That's the only one I know of. And this is the one that I always use for Pluto. But in the Western, you can see it looks like a P.
P with a tail.
Right. So,
yeah.
So Uranus is like the higher octave of Mercury also, which is in the 3rd house, right? It's the awakener.
Virgo.
The rebel. So the keywords that I have are think, meaningful change, and liberate. That's why I said I think of the tower, because it's through the tower moments that we really...
Yeah, actually, I think in RWS, the tower's Mars.
Mars, right.
But I'm pretty sure in Thoth, it's Pluto. But, you know, every system has its own thing, and both make sense. Yep. Mars totally makes sense, right?
And then Pluto also is the transformer.
Yes. But if anybody that was listening to when we went over my chart, Rachele and I both have that Pluto and Virgo, because anybody that's really Gen X does.
Right.
Even though we were told that we had Pluto in Libra.
Yeah.
It's really in Virgo. And because in Western tropical, they're all 30 degrees, it was split between Libra and Virgo. So I think some people were.
1968 is when actually Pluto went into Virgo. 1968.
Until when?
Until 86, I think.
Oh. But so what that actually means too is that there will be then, so instead of them just lumping all these generations as the same sizes, there's going to be different sizes of generations, because obviously Virgo is going to have a much bigger generation because it's there for longer, versus you can see when we go into Libra, which really the millennials, then those that came after us, they're really the Pluto and Libra generation, but they're told they're Pluto and Scorpio.
Right. See, I don't know whether or not all modern, because I was looking at that. That's something else that I'm going to do a little series on, is just to show people yet another way that Western astrology has kind of overtaken everything, and even talking about the different generations and stuff, which are just completely BS. I mean, what they're saying that this planet was in and this planet, it's all BS.
Well, I'm sure somebody at somewhere knows that the planets weren't there. It is considered to be a seasonal system. So to them, it would have been, which that doesn't even make sense for stuff like that, because it's like, how does something stay in a season for years and years and years?
Right.
That's not even a thing, right?
Why would that be? I don't understand the terminology that's used in Western. That's the whole thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, when we say that we're coming into the fall and it's Scorpio, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not actually correct. Maybe the darker part of the fall, as we're going into winter, that would be more Scorpio, because we actually go into Scorpio around the 22nd of November. Almost positive.
Yeah.
And we just literally moved into on the 4th into Libra.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you guys know by now we get sidetracked, but we talked about it a little bit last time, but I was looking, so I have like this book, but I don't think the dates of Virgo were correct in this book.
What book is it?
That's the Gate and Key. that we have?
I don't know.
So it says, I just wonder where else we can look them up, because this says that the Virgo dates are still only looks like it's a month. I think it said like October 26th to November 26th. That's not enough days.
It is between September 15th and November 3rd is Virgo.
How many days is that?
It is like 50 days.
Okay, yeah, good. That's how it should be, right?
And an age would be 3,600 years instead of 2,159 years.
Well, so, okay, that's a great point. So then does the age of Virgo last way longer than the age of Pisces?
The thing to remember is that these are all systems that were created. So if we're playing with the same system that was set up, but using the real astrology or the real astronomy, then the same rules would apply, right?
Yeah, I would think.
Well, then if that's the case, they're saying that the sun is in this sign on such and such a date on the spring equinox, right?
Right.
If that's the case,
right,
then it would be 3,600 years for an age for Virgo versus 2,156, 59, whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this book says the Virgo dates are September 17th to October 17th, which is not true at all, because the sun didn't even enter Virgo until like November, like you said, November 4th, was it?
Let me make one thing very clear.
It goes through a void. Go ahead.
Let me make one thing very clear for anybody that's watching. Okay, so first of all of the dates that I have here and the sizes of the constellations that I figure are true sidereal astrology, which means they use the midpoint size of each constellation.
Yeah.
Now, that particular person that wrote that book might be using like IAU guidelines, which to me almost feels like
sidereal Sagittarius dates.
Do what?
It just says sidereal of each sign. Sidereal Aries date, sidereal Virgo date. So
okay, well that's
probably just matching that system.
Right. But so Real Sky, unless it's been changed when I got the book, they don't use midpoint either. Midpoint is where Athen came up with midpoint at masteringthezodiac.com or Mastering the Zodiac YouTube channel. He has taken along the ecliptic the two stars that are closest to the ecliptic on either constellation and found the middle point. That's where he cut it off. Now the True Sky crew, they don't even use that. They use different, to my understanding, they use different guidelines where it ends on the last star, and then there's a void point in between. So
yeah,
sometimes people might be born not even in any kind of sign. What does that mean?
I guess, and this is where, like we've talked about, it's important that if you really want to get into this system, you should start looking at the sky and seeing what's happening out there and question everything all the time. I'm going to make sure I'm going to go check next year. When does the sun actually enter Virgo, exit Virgo? How long are we in that void between Virgo and Libra? Like, this is what our ancients were doing. They were looking at the sky. They weren't just taking somebody else's word for it. Astrology and astronomy were the same thing back then.
Okay, I'm sure that's really loud, so I'm going to pause it for a minute. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so doggies have had a little break and we've had our side chats like we do. So we will, it's not that we want to skip the fourth house, but she doesn't have anything in the fourth house in her true sidereal, but you did end up with your Uranus and your Western chart there. You can see you had Uranus in fourth, but
yes.
We're going to focus mostly on where your placements are. What were you going to say?
Well, in Western, Uranus is in Libra in my fourth house.
Yeah.
But in true sidereal, it's still in my third house in Virgo. So that's different.
Which, and yes, you kind of explained it. It's higher octave of Mercury, which is awesome. but it's also your inner rebel, which you've talked about.
Our thought processes, the things that liberate us, right? Is for me, I feel like it is when the truth hits you in the freaking face.
We were just talking about that.
Exactly. When the truth hits you in the face, you see it. And well, it just happens to be truly in my third house, right? Which has to do with like communication and thought patterns and education, as well as, siblings and stuff like that.
Neighborhood and
Exactly.
short-term travel.
Yep, exactly. And yes, my rebel. I am a bit of a rebel. I mean, and I see it.
You own it.
Yeah, but why? Because it's about liberating ourselves from systems that block us in.
Yes.
We're
not just here to be confrontational and in your face all the time. It's to break free from, conditioning and
who says that you have to do that? Who says that you have to be this person? Who says that you got to fit into this little square? Look, it ain't gonna work.
We all in the spiritual world and community pride ourselves on breaking free from the church. Why do we want to put ourselves back in another box?
Because people have self-identified. That's what it is. I'm convinced of it. You can tell me it's because it's a Caesar system. It's because it's this. That's BS. You're BSing yourself. I'm sorry. I know this is controversial, but this is, why would you, if you say that you're in a spiritual community and you're a truth seeker, if you're not, I'm not talking to you.
Sure.
If you are,
yeah,
and you know that this is not truly what your sign was in, the sun was in, or the moon was in, or that planet was truly in this house or that house, and you don't acknowledge it, and you say it's because it's a seasonal system.
Ignorance is bliss.
You
go back to sleep. Yourself. Just go back to sleep and just stay there.
You're fooling yourself. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I know it's controversial. Sorry, but the truth hurts okay. Sometimes.
It does. And, I've been the one to admit it time and time again. It wasn't easy. It's not easy. And things in life that are worth having usually aren't.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's not a challenge to accept and to let go of other things and to grow. I mean, growth is painful.
True growth is painful. Yes. But it can be so liberating at the same moment.
Yeah.
Why do we have to? I don't use astrology to tell me who I am.
Yeah.
I use it as maybe a tool of understanding, but I got to remember, it is still a damn system.
Even this is a system. Yeah. Which is why we're always questioning it too.
Tarot is a system. Everything is a system. That's why I say always trust your gut, right? Even when you're reading the cards, it's not always about the meaning.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's beyond that. Anyways, we've gotten way off there.
We're a tangent. We'll go to fifth house. Fifth house.
That's where a lot of
you got it stacked. You got it stacked, girl. A lot of fun, a lot of excitement, a lot of childlikes, because again, the Leo characteristics will be in the fifth house, even if you don't have Leo in the fifth house, for people that don't, think that that's a case. But you've got it split here. Well, okay, so you got it split in both. Western tropical, you've got Scorpio coming in with Mars and Jupiter, and then Saggy with Neptune and Venus. But in your true sidereal, we've got Mars and Jupiter and Libra. Neptune and Scorpio. Where's Venus? Is your Venus in Scorpio or a Fucus?
Let me look at it really quick.
Scorp. Oh, I can see it there. Scorp.
It's in Scorpio. Yes.
And Vesta. Is that Vesta?
Yes. Eternal flame, which also has to do with like sex and what did I put? Oh, no, did I get that wrong? No, Vesta was hearth and home nurturer, right?
I don't remember.
I don't either. So bad. I'm looking for
I do remember it somehow being like relationshipy, so that could be sex.
It's Hestia. So the home
Hestia.
fires.
I do think it's kind of cute that you either have Mars and Scorpio, which Mars is already kind of like, it's a very sexual, it's masculine. It's what I call it fucking and fighting. Fucking and fighting energy. That's that. The eternal flame, sexuality, what is it? Dedication?
Yep, dedication.
Kundalini.
And Kundalini.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that's great to have that Kundalini energy there in Ophiuchus for sure.
In my 5th house of fun and self-expression, and
all of that makes sense for you. Libra, Scorpio, and Ophiuchus all make sense.
Yes.
Been married for how many years? 33?
Yes. Oh, not married for that long. We've been together for 33 years, but we were married. It'll be 30 years this next year.
That's such a amazing thing in this day and age. It's amazing no matter what, but seriously, like,
yeah.
Shout out to Hubs.
Yep. And what's funny is he's a life path 5.
Is he?
I'm an 8. Mm-hmm.
Aww.
Yep.
So I think it's funny. You've got to have the Mars and the Scorpio, you know, fucking and fighting, or in Libra. I mean, I think it works both ways. You know, you will fight for your marriage. You'll defend it. It's when we say fight doesn't mean a negative thing. Sometimes you have to defend or fight for something. And if you don't fight for it and you don't defend it, then maybe it's at risk for something, right? You know, but it's like you both clearly have had to put that energy into that relationship, or you wouldn't have been together for 33 years.
It's not a walk in the park. For anything worthwhile doesn't come easy. You got to work at it.
Yes.
You know,
Jupiter, I feel like really helps everything out there. For sure. To have that right there with your Mars. Neptune and Scorpio, very nice.
Yeah.
Very psychic, very you know, like when we talked about me, this is when with Neptune and Scorpio, there's no wonder that you are so attracted to this world
stuff. Right, exactly. Yes.
But I think that the Mars, Libra, well, maybe, I mean, again, that may be
Mars and Jupiter in conjunction in Libra.
Conjunction, yeah.
Yeah, they're in conjunction with each other.
I was more actually going to tie it in with your Mars. Scorpio makes a lot of sense with your you love the dark. I don't want to say dark. The sexy romance books. What are they even called? What is that genre?
Erotic romance.
Yeah, erotica. It is very, but you know, Scorpio's that everywhere, no matter where, and you still have Neptune. Oh, Venus. You've got Venus there, so that makes a lot of sense,
right?
For sure.
Yes. Yeah, but this is, I mean, I'm not even gonna.
We won't go there.
When it comes to sex, let's just put it like this: it's not conventional. It's not vanilla. Okay.
Rachele won't spill her whole guts on life like I will, but
couples that play together stay together. So
yeah. Period. And if you really learn astrology and you just look, then you'll know. Venus and Scorpio. 5th house, fun, and also love affairs. It's nobody said your love affair can't be with your own damn husband. I don't make the rules. Right. That's just, you know, it's the difference. I feel like anyway with love affair and marriage is the fun aspect of it instead of it feeling obligatory. And so what a great place to actually have that. Now my dogs are see if it's always a very fine line that we walk here when we're on live together. And you say you're going to add into people's charts, but you didn't yet on yours. The galactic center would be going right here in the Ophiuchus placement. So if you have Rachele run your chart for you, you'll see a GC right there.
Right. And that would be in my 6th house, actually.
So what do you feel like the galactic center in the 6th house? What's that going to bring in? What energy does that bring in for you in the 6th house?
I think it just also the galactic center is, and I don't know, because this is a brand new concept to me.
Yeah, just go off intuition. I'll share my thoughts too, but I don't feel like there's any right or wrong answers. But what do you feel intuitively about what is the energy of the galactic center?
The energy of the galactic center is something that you want to like delve into, something that is almost like the center of your universe, maybe like a overarching theme in your life kind of thing, right? And when he did mine, I had like a grand trine, and I'm talking about Isaac, like a grand trine between like my 5th house and my 8th and 9th house, as well as my 3rd house. He said it was like a major like spiritual healing, kind of, because it was also like a trine with my Chiron, which is in Pisces.
Right.
So he said it's like I'm tapping into like galactic wisdom. Like I have the I don't know. He says it way better than I do.
He's very poetic about it. It's like it's not just what he's saying, it's just he says it so beautifully and so effortlessly. But well, I agree with that. What was my thought just going to be about that specifically? Oh, because you've also commented that claircognizance is a very strong gift for you as well, right? So I think that makes sense.
My strongest, because of my dreams. Yes.
When I think of the galactic center, I think of like the womb of the mother, which is creation, all really potentiality for anything that you want to bring into creation. I feel like because your focus is so on that higher octave spiritually and growth, it's because you're wanting to really help. And it may sound cheesy to people, and people are maybe sick of hearing about, this new earth, but it's like we are trying to birth a new earth and a new way to live. Even if it's not like a new physical planet showing up, we're not going to go hopping on it. We're trying to create a new way to live and be. And I think that makes so much sense to me. That's how I look at the galactic center. But again, we're all learning these things together. That's kind of the fun in this true sidereal thing, is that there isn't all these other people coming in to say, this is what this means to you. You can kind of feel it and experience what that energy is.
This is why I say for people to learn for yourself, because as you are learning about each individual planet, and that's eventually what I would like to get into, really. After we do these initial, I want us to get into each episode, really digging in deep into each constellation, maybe.
Absolutely.
Like stuff that we can find out, like ancient stuff about it, because a lot of this stuff is modern, right? That we're talking about.
We want to go
the characteristics.
Way back.
Yes.
In my opinion, going back is the future.
I mean, if we really want to look at why these systems were created to begin with, and in fact, if these systems came from like information that was being funneled down to us through like fallen angels, right? If that's what they say,
Anunnaki or aliens,
the actual origins of it, it wouldn't be what is considered modern astrology now, which is Western astrology.
Right.
So
we're at 58 minutes already, because that's how we roll. The time just goes by so fast. So we'll stop with Rachele's chart at the 6th house. It took us 2 episodes to get through mine. It'll take us 2 episodes to get through Rachele's, and who knows? It's not that we don't want to give you each 2 episodes, but that we do have a lot that we want to talk about. So maybe we'll be a little less
chatty.
We'll always be chatty, but that's why they love us.
And controversial, and you know what? My biggest message is you are the rule maker. It's your life. It's your projection, because I believe that we create our creators, right?
Yeah.
So you decide whether or not this system is going to tell you who you are, or whether or not you're going to use it as an empowerment tool, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Well, we thank you guys for spending this time with us. Make sure that you like this video, share it out to any places that talk about this type of astrology. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check out everybody's links down below, and we'll see you guys hopefully next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, guys.